The tenor of Prime Minister Allen Chastanet's New Year's Day address was one of optimism. Chastanet was buoyant on the performance of the economy during his 3.5 years at the helm. But with the general elections about 18 months away, it was an address focused on the future.
The most recent IMF assessment on St. Lucia described our growth prospects in the near term as favorable, and projected that the commencement of our eminent infrastructural projects will substantially boost growth in 2020 to 2022 period.
The Prime Minister once again touted the tourism figures, noting that stay-over visitors were in record territory, while other subsectors of the tourism industry, he says, continue to hold their own. Prime Minister Chastanet pointed to a number of tourism projects expected to begin in earnest this year. The government is banking on those projects as well as a number of public sector developments like the Road Reconstruction Initiative, creating an economic buzz in the final stretch of this election cycle.
Unemployment, which was at 25% when we came in, has been reduced to 17% according to the most recent reports from the Statistics Department, and we anticipate a further reduction this year. The undisputed fact is that our economy has recorded growth in every single year since we took office. I make this point to emphasize the fact that history shows that St. Lucia always prospers under a United Workers' Party administration. We have a track record laid down by our founding father, Sir John Compton, of consistently developing this country.
The Prime Minister sounded a somber note on the subject of crime. The crime card has made poor reading during this administration, with 110 homicides in 2 years, and many of the communities blighted by burglaries and other acts of criminality. Prime Minister Chastanet says there is a plan in progress to address crime.
We've already embarked on the following: empowering and modernizing our police force with communication equipment, vehicles including motorcycles. We now have 95 CCTV cameras feeds in strategic areas, and in 2020 we will mount 525 additional camera feeds from Castries to Gros Islet. We have recruited over 80 new officers, with targeted patrols already resulting in a drop in assaults. We reopened the forensic lab. We started with 12 city police and are now up to 42. We restored the operations of our Coast Guard vessels and radar systems, which had been dysfunctional. The Director of Public Prosecution has received increased resources for his office. We facilitated the strengthening of the judiciary with more magistrates and judges.
If it goes according to plan, there will be a hive of activity in St. Lucia leading up to the general elections. Outside of the economy and crime, the Prime Minister touched on the environment, promising to continue to advocate on the international stage for support for St. Lucia to mitigate the adverse impact of climate change. There was no mention, however, on the national debt and the impact some of the proposed public sector projects will have on the burgeoning debt burden. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.